there are concerns, not just by some of the public out here, but by some of the other big corporations out here as well, in terms of these high-frequency chips that are going to be used out here in the open that could cause problems potentially. And this is kind of odd because the FCC was not going to allow this to go into motion because of the high frequency that these things ran on. We even had Facebook step up and challenge these things being put out into the open and said that it could interfere with other technologies that are out there. Now, Google's stating that this is a radar-based hand sensor that operates off of this chip in a high frequency. Now, when you look into the frequency spectrum down here, they state that the FCC says that anything that is operating in this range, they're saying the band range of 57 to 64 gigahertz, and also within 24 to 86 gigahertz, is a range that they have pretty much told people they cannot operate in. Now, when you start to get into this frequency range and what they're doing here, it starts to become rather obvious something huge is going on here. And when you start to realize and you wake up and you see how key frequency is in everything on this planet and what they're doing in manipulating it, it becomes jaw-dropping. They even tie it in themselves. Not just me thinking of this and seeing where this is going, but they just flat out admit it because there's nowhere to hide it. This is going to tie in directly with the frequencies used for the 5G networks that are soon to be activated throughout the U.S. It is unclear whether the overlap could cause any interference. So, how could they approve something like this if they've never tested it? How could you not test if it's going to interfere in this field like this? It just is extremely odd to me that these big groups come together like this. Facebook voices concern. Then they come back and they're like, okay, we're not going to allow them. The FCC says we're not going to allow Google to operate on that high of a frequency, but we're still going to let them operate on a higher power level than allowed. Right there, it even says it. Than allowed. And they're letting them do this. And then it goes on to say that it's going to be right there in the range of the 5G. How's it going to affect that? Then they go on to state that this stuff is going to be put on aircraft. But if it's on there, it has to be turned off. What happens if one of these chips gets turned on an aircraft then? Then what's going to happen? Lots of questions. And that's why people are concerned about these chips and their activation in certain environments, especially if it hasn't been tested. It just blows my mind that the FCC is just going to allow this without them even knowing or even trying to test what's going to happen here on flights or with, 5G. We've talked about what 5G is going to do. The damage that it's done already in the test that's been done on it to humans. So, this is some of the latest. Wanted to make people aware of what's happening here with this chip, the talk surrounding it, the potentials for what it could possibly do here, and I'll continue to update with information as it's released. Links below. It's been Dabu7. Peace.